Have you ever found yourself just, well, paralyzed? At a crossroads in life, maybe facing a decision that feels huge, almost impossible.
Oh, definitely. That feeling of being overwhelmed.
Exactly. Or maybe it's a big career shift or, personal crisis, just that sense of not knowing which way to turn.
That deep confusion.
Yeah, that yearning for some clear guidance. That's actually precisely where we're diving in today.
Okay.
We're doing a deep dive into Bhagavad Gita Chapter 2. It's often called the Yoga of Knowledge.
A really foundational text.
Absolutely. And it offers some incredibly profound insights for navigating those very moments. Now, you've shared some fantastic sources with us, all really getting into this pivotal chapter.
Yes, really digging deep.
So our mission here really is to pull out the most essential nuggets of wisdom. We want to help you grasp the core philosophical ideas and the practical advice from Lord Krishna.
Kind of a shortcut to the heart of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Consider it your essential guide to understanding the core of the Gita.
Okay, sounds good.
So, to set the scene, you'll remember from Chapter 1 that really intense moment.
Arjuna on the battlefield.
Yes, the mighty warrior, but he's utterly paralyzed. He's looking at fighting his own family, his teachers.
People he respects deeply.
And he's completely despondent, just full of grief and confusion.
He actually drops his bow, doesn't he?
He does, drops his famous bow, Gandiva, and basically says he'd rather lead by begging than fight his relatives for a kingdom that's, stained with their blood.
Wow. His absolute lowest point.
It's his deepest crisis, and in that total surrender, he turns to Krishna.
And not just as his friend anymore.
No, explicitly as his spiritual teacher. He pleads for guidance, asking, tell me the right path.
And that's the trigger. That's where Krishna's teaching really begins.
Right, so what's fascinating is how Krishna responds.
Yeah, it's quite direct. He doesn't really coddle Arjuna's emotional state.
No hand-holding there.
Not at all. He starts by admonishing him, actually, calling his dejection sort of unbefitting a noble warrior, an un-Aryan sentiment in that context.
Okay.
And then he immediately cuts to the chase. He introduces this core philosophical principle, the eternal nature of the soul.
The immortal soul.
Exactly. This is the essence of what's called Sankhya Yoga within the Gita. It's all about distinguishing between the self, which is unchanging, and matter, which is temporary.
So this eternal, imperishable soul, that's a stark contrast to Arjuna's despair over, people dying.
Precisely.
How does this teaching, then, directly help with his grief? Is it just an intellectual idea?
Well, it's meant as a direct antidote to his sorrow. Krishna teaches that the soul isn't subject to birth or death or any kind of change, really.
Unborn and undying.
Unborn, undying. He uses that really powerful analogy.
The clothes.
Yes. Just as a person discards old clothes and puts on new ones, the soul casts off an old, worn-out body and enters a new one.
So the body is temporary.
But the soul, your true self, is eternal. And he really emphasizes this. The soul cannot be killed by weapons, burned by fire, wet by water, or dried by wind. Indivisible, inconceivable, immutable, all of that. And the point is, this knowledge should remove Arjuna's grief. Their bodies might die, but their souls, they just move on.
That completely reframes the whole situation on the battlefield, doesn't it?
It really does.
And it ties into that idea of duality, right?
Yeah.
Like happiness and distress, pleasure, pain.
Victory and defeat, all of it.
Krishna says these are all temporary.
Exactly. They just arise from the interaction of our senses with the material world.
Okay.
Fleeting moments.
Okay.
So if you connect that to the bigger picture,
Yeah.
a truly wise person is someone who isn't disturbed by these ups and downs.
Because they understand they're temporary.
Right, they see their transient nature, and because of that, they're considered fit for liberation, for freedom.
It sounds simple, but
It's incredibly difficult in practice. I mean, let's be honest, getting stuck in traffic usually bothers us. Winning the lottery definitely feels good.
right. We react.
We react. So the question Krishna implicitly poses, and maybe for you listening too, is how do you perceive challenges? Can you start to see beyond that immediate temporary struggle or gain?
That's a deep question. So, okay, with that understanding of the eternal soul laid out.
The philosophical foundation.
Right. Krishna doesn't just stop there. He immediately shifts to the practical side.
Yes, to karma yoga, the yoga of selfless action.
Okay, let's unpack that. How does this deep knowledge actually translate into, well, doing things?
So he starts by reminding Arjuna of his specific dharma, his righteous duty.
As a Kshatriya, a warrior.
Correct. Krishna basically says, look, for a warrior, there's no greater good than fighting a righteous battle. a just war.
And not fighting would be bad.
Terribly bad. It would bring infamy, humiliation, but more importantly, it would be complete dereliction of his duty, a failure of his Dharma.
Okay.
He even frames it as kind of win-win for Arjuna. He says, if you're killed in this righteous fight, you attain heaven. If you win, you get to enjoy the earthly kingdom. Either way, fulfilling your duty leads to a good outcome.
That raises a huge point, though, doesn't it? How do we figure out our righteous duties? Especially when they're hard or maybe conflict with what we want.
That's a central challenge, absolutely.
Yeah.
Does the Gita give a simple formula? Not exactly. It's more about understanding principles.
Okay. And this leads to maybe the most famous and maybe misunderstood teaching in the Gita.
Ah, yes. Perform your duty.
Without attachment to the fruits of action.
Exactly.
Now, a lot of people hear that as, don't care about the results, like be apathetic.
Right, which sounds passive or indifferent, but that's not quite it.
So how does Krishna clarify this? It's not indifference, but what?
It's a really profound distinction. The focus has to be entirely on the action itself, performed to the best of your ability according to your duty, not constantly worrying about the outcome, whether it's success or failure.
So it's about the doing, not the getting.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And this mental state, this equanimity or balance of mind, where you're stable in both success and failure. That is what Krishna calls yoga.
Ah, okay. Yoga as equanimity.
Yes. And the two parts connect perfectly.
Yeah.
If you act with that intellectual understanding, knowing the soul is eternal, the body temporary, and you act without attachment to results,
Then you free yourself.
you free yourself from the bondage of karma. You're not entangled in the reactions, good or bad, that normally come from actions driven by desire for results.
So it's not about not acting.
Oh, definitely not. It's about acting with a specific mindset, a detached awareness that frees you from that mental burden of constantly chasing outcomes.
Okay, that clarifies a lot. And this focus on the mindset leads Arjuna to ask a really key question.
He asks about the state of prajna.
Right. What are the characteristics of someone like that? Someone established in a transcendental consciousness with that steady mind. What do they actually look like?
Well, Krishna describes this state of prajna as someone who gives up all desires for basically sense gratification. They're not chasing external pleasures.
Where do they find satisfaction then?
In the self alone, internally. Imagine that level of self-contained fulfillment.
Wow. And this person is like completely undisturbed by adversity.
Completely. Free from fear, anger, passion, attachment. They maintain this deep inner calm, this composure no matter what's happening externally.
It's an unwavering internal state.
Exactly. And they also have incredible control over their senses.
Ah, the tortoise analogy.
Yeah, it's the one. Just as a tortoise withdraws its limbs into its shell, the steady-minded person can withdraw their senses from sense objects. They aren't pulled here and there by external distractions or temptations.
They're in control.
Fully.
And their perception is different too, right? There's that line about night and day.
Yes, that's fascinating. Krishna says they are awake to what is considered night by ordinary people.
Meaning the self-spiritual reality.
Right. And see as night
Yeah.
what ordinary people see as day.
Which is the transient material world, the world of sense objects.
Exactly. It's a fundamental shift in what they value and focus on. And this shift allows them to attain lasting peace.
It's that internal shift leading to the external composure.
Perfectly put. They aren't agitated by desires flowing in, much like the ocean, Krishna says, which remains steady despite many rivers flowing into it.
So it's not about blocking the world out.
No, it's about interacting with it from a place of profound inner stability, without being swept away by its currents.
So wrapping this chapter up, Chapter 2 really takes Arjuna from that place of, well, emotional breakdown and confusion
Total paralysis.
to a place of deep philosophical understanding and practical resolve
It absolutely lays the intellectual groundwork for everything else in the Gita.
by making that clear distinction: temporary body, eternal soul.
And introducing selfless action, Karma Yoga, as the way forward, the path to liberation. So, thinking about this for you, the listener, what does this all mean? I mean, these are ancient teachings, but they offer a really powerful framework, don't they?
For understanding your true nature, definitely, and for facing challenges.
Yeah, finding that inner peace, regardless of what's happening outside. It invites you to look beyond the immediate situation, the temporary stuff, and consider a deeper reality.
So here's a final thought to maybe chew on. If the soul really is eternal, unchanging, And if our duty, our focus should be on the action itself without that obsessive attachment to outcomes. What's one outcome, one specific result maybe, that you find yourself constantly worrying about or fearing right now? What if you could just release that attachment? How might that shift things for you, bringing maybe a greater sense of peace or purpose into your life?